Evening, ladies and gentlemen. Jai Hind. I am Major Mohammed Ali Shah. It's my proud privilege and honor to welcome a very, very special guest, a very popular MLA from Manipur who has also been the former Director General of Police of Manipur right from January 2016 till December 2021. He needs no introduction at all. Everyone knows him. In the country, everyone knows him. In fact, Mr. Lalian Mang Khaute, who's popularly known as Mr. LM Khaute. He is a retired IPS officer that I rightly mentioned just now. He is from the IPS batch of 1985 Manipur cadre. He's got several awards to his credit. He was awarded the Police Special Duty Medal. He was awarded the Police Medal for meritorious service. He was awarded the President's Police Medal for distinguishing his service. He was awarded the Antrik Suraksha Seva Padak for Northeast region, Ati Utkrish Seva Padak, amongst various other honors that have been awarded to him. He has been very, very kind and very nice to have given me some time to speak. And I am going to be springing on some surprises to him. I am going to be asking certain questions. Let's welcome very, very popular MLA from Manipur, Sir. Jai Hind, sir, and thank you very much for taking your time, sir.
Jai Hind, and a very good evening to you.
Sir, what an honor, sir, to be in conversation with you. Sir, firstly, you are from the BAP party. You are a cookie. Now, I have a lot of course-mates of mine, in fact, a lot of my dear friends, I would say, who are from Manipur, who are Maites, who are Nagas as well, who are cookies as well. But I found there were ethnic clashes in the 90s, and thereafter it stopped, thankfully, for quite some time. And I feel, that's my personal view. I mean, you are welcome to your view, sir. That I think it is very unfair to brand any community with the same brush. For example, when the viral video of two cookie ladies was surfaced, which was shot on 4th of May. Actually, it surfaced later on, months later on. My very good friends are Maites. I mean, rapists, Maites. I mean, it's wrong. I felt it was wrong. Similarly, I feel it's wrong to say the cookies are poppy cultivators or they're illegal immigrants or such thing, whatever. I mean, that is for any. I think we all should have a spirit of brotherhood. So, what is your take? Is it fair to paint any community, for that matter, with the same brush, sir?
Thank you. As you rightly pointed out, I belong to the BJP party, and I represent 58 Assembly constituency, Churachandpur, and the community to which I belong is the Kuki Jomi community. The question that you have posed for my answer and reaction, it is very, very unfortunate that a section or some sections of the Métis community have branded the Kuki Jomis as a community of poppy planters or even narco-terrorists. This only smacks of a prejudice and a biased mind of the sections of people who have branded our community without any logic or any valid rationale behind it. It is, as you also mentioned, that just because some people in the community commit crimes like rape or crimes like thefts, you cannot brand the entire community as a community of thieves or a community of rapists, which is devoid of any logic, any rationale, and unacceptable in a civilized world of today. And as far as the branding of our community as narco-terrorist is concerned, I would like to say that the people who branded us as narco-terrorists, I'm very doubtful that they don't understand even the meaning of narco-terrorism. People on the street shouting at a particular community and calling them at the pitch of their voice, branding them as narco-terrorists, the entire community, as a community of poppy planters, is not conducive for a peaceful coexistence, a peaceful society, and it's totally without any justification whatsoever. To justify my point, reinforce my standpoint, if you allow me, I will be highlighting a few points based on my experiences as the DGP of the state of Manipur for about 6 years. May I proceed?
Please, sir. It would be an honor to hear you, sir. Please.
As per available data, 85% of the total area under poppy cultivation, this area spreads across the entire state of Manipur, particularly the hill districts of Manipur. And you will come across poppy cultivation in different districts of the hill area. For example, if not all, at least in most of the hill districts like Chandel, Churachandpur, Tengnopal, Ukhrul, Kamjong, Senapati, Kangpokpi, and so on. Now, if you say that poppy cultivation takes place only in the Kuki-Zomi dominated districts, then it is absolutely wrong. It is absolutely wrong because way back in 2016 and 17, in 2016, 17, the state government had taken up the war on drugs campaign. And since then, through my office, that is the DGP of Manipur's office, the large chunk of the campaign against drug was carried out. Now we have sent out various police teams in all these hill districts, and we tried out various methods, destroyed poppy plants by incorporating the NCB, the central agencies like the Assam Rifles, and then the state police in curbing the poppy cultivation menace in the district. Before that, the Manipur has traditionally been known in the fight against drug for having a substantial area of cultivation of ganja, that is cannabis. Cannabis is cultivated in several parts of the Imphal East district particularly, and some adjacent hill districts of Imphal East, which is very fertile. I remember way back in 1991, 92, when I was the SP in narcotics, I used to lead the forces and go out destroying ganja plantation cultivation. Those days, poppy cultivation was not heard of because of the proximity to the Golden Triangle. The people from across the Myanmar and also people from this side, because of the proximate area, and then the interaction with the people got to know of the poppy cultivation, the drug manufacturing centers, techniques that were there in the Golden Triangle area of Myanmar and Thailand, Laos, then Cambodia. So then, bad things easily tend to spread across very fast. So later on, in the later part of 1990s and 2000, early part of 2000, we started noticing poppy cultivation in small areas of the hill areas in small districts of the hill areas, the small pockets of the hill districts and Manipur. That's how slowly poppy cultivation started coming in. We used to obtain images from the Indian Space Research Organization. Images were sent those days, and based on those images, which sometimes turn out to be not very accurate because sometimes you get the wrong images, like the mustard plants are also reflected in the ISRO images as poppy cultivation areas. So with all those, backup and all that in the early uh, 2000, in the 2000s, we used to, take up campaign against poppy plantation. And as I said, right from the start, all the hill districts have been, most gradually, all the hill districts have been covered by poppy cultivation. It's not the exclusive, activity taken up by the Kuki-Zomi community alone. In fact, in many parts of the Kuki-Zomi dominated areas, you don't have any poppy cultivation at all because the people are not ready to accept poppy cultivation. The chiefs are vehemently against it. And then even some, CSOs, even the suspension of operation groups have been very strict about, in some pockets, having this kind of illicit poppy cultivation because of various regions and the approach of the community in many areas, in the Zomi areas, Kuki areas, in our districts, you don't find any poppy cultivation at all. And let me come to the second point about the figures of arrest of persons in connection with, drug-related cases. Major, are you hearing me?
Yes, yes, very much, sir. Very much. Yes, 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 sir. Why didn't
As
interrupt us? I
per
wanted to hear it from you, sir.
Yes, thank you so much. As per the data available with me, in the entire state, for the last 5 years, starting from 2017-18 to 2023, there is a total area of 1,500 and 15,400 acres of poppy cultivated area spread across the entire state, mostly in the hill areas. And so that means it's spread across the entire area, means you have the Kuki-Zomi pockets, and you have many other pockets which are dominated by other tribes. Then you have, as per my records, during this period, that is the last 5 years, you have a total arrest of 2,518 persons in connection with various drug cases. And 1,000 persons of those arrested persons belong to the districts of hill area. And over 1,645 persons arrested belong to the valley area. The valley area, you mean the Métis are there, you have the Pangals, then you have other communities. You have various other communities as well as in the valley. But when I talk of the people arrested from the hills, which is about 1,000 as per the figure available. From this figure, if you analyze, it is very clear that you have, from the valley, you have maximum number of people booked and arrested under different sections of NDPS Act.
Okay,
So
sir.
then this proves my point that you cannot blame a particular community, particularly the Kuki-Zomis, as people who love to commit crimes under the NDPS Act. The figure speaks otherwise. Then you have these poor farmers who have been tempted to, in the absence of economic opportunities, alternative economic opportunities, because of the poor background, they were tempted by people, the organized group or the cartel, who mostly invest huge amount of money and capital centering around the valley area, and contacted people in the remote areas in various hill districts, convince them and trap them, and then induce them or lure them into cultivating poppy plants. Some of them even love to cultivate poppy because they were so ignorant. They thought that these are beautiful flowers, and without knowing the serious adverse implications legally and even medically, or even the adverse impact it has on the life of our community, people of our community. So that way you have people investing money in the valley, and the people look out to these farmers at the time of harvesting, collect the sap. And there is a very rudimentary kind of, transacting the, purchasing the raw materials, the sap collected from poppy plants. And you have that kaini, that cover, that small tobacco covers. Within that, they packed it and then determine the price. And it's a very ingenious kind of trading taking place between the cultivators and the cartel, the people who mostly invest money, who are mostly from the valley area. There would be, I don't know about maybe a few individuals from elsewhere, but going by the data, we know that people from the valley who are better off economically and who are into drug trading, trafficking, much more than the people from the hills, have been luring them in that manner. So to substantiate my point, let me mention some of the successful operations against drugs in the valley, which took place in the year 2019 during my DG-ship. And on one occasion in Thoubal district, in Lilong area of Thoubal district,
Yeah, I
there
know that
was a
place.
special,
It's very
yes,
close to Khaute.
special operation was carried out by the Manipur police with other forces,
Which
during
year was
which
this,
they
sir?
have,
Which
that
year?
was in 2000, that was in 2019. That was
Okay,
in
you under your command, sir, when
2019.
you were the DGP, sir.
Yes, very true. That was in 2019. And during one operation, the forces busted one clandestine uh, brown sugar and number 4 heroin manufacturing laboratory, and seized drugs and apparatus and other morphinated chemicals worth 1,000 crores,
My goodness.
worth 100 crores.
Okay.
And in the same year, in another operation in Lilong Moising area, similar operation was carried out, and then drugs worth 160 crores
My
were
goodness.
seized. And in another similar operation in Thoubal district, drugs worth 180 crores were seized by the state police. And we rewarded the police team on one occasion 10 lakhs as a special reward. And we also had instituted the Chief Minister's Trophy for anti-drug campaign to bolster our strength in the fight against drugs, in the war on drugs. So it's very clear that the few examples that I have given, these are on records. These are on records, and we have, during my time, published souvenir to commemorate, the Raising Day, and it's on record. It's a published material. These are on record. I'll be having many other examples of busting of this kind of drug manufacturing laboratories in many parts of the Valley area, Valley districts. So these points I'm highlighting to suggest that the kingpins are from the Valley, and the kingpins have invested so much of money. And the people who are cultivating in the peripheral hill districts are only what we call the victims in a way. And how can we call these poor farmers as narco-terrorists? If we are to call these poor farmers as narco-terrorists for selling the raw materials at very cheap rate, which are being manufactured in clandestine manner in various parts of the state, in the valley, and some which have been shipped or trafficked to Myanmar and then manufactured in Myanmar or the Golden Triangle area and brought back to our country in the form of brown sugar and number 4 heroin, then there is no word to modern, that narco-terrorism to brand those people, the drug cartel, who have been responsible for all these organized drug-related crimes. Then it is absolutely unfair. It has no basis whatsoever. And I would also like to mention that the raw materials that are trafficked into Myanmar are being, again, after refinement or after converting them into brown sugar and number 4 heroin, are being brought into our state and supplied or trafficked across the country, and including outside India. Now, to highlight my point or drive home my point that all communities, unfortunately, are victims to the drug menace for over 50 decades now. All communities in Manipur, also, people from the mainland, some persons, traffickers from the mainland are also involved in this chain of drug trafficking. Let me tell you an example. In the early 1990s, the precursor for manufacturing of number 4 and brown sugar, particularly number 4 heroin, was acetic anhydride, which was much sought after in Myanmar. And acetic anhydride used to be trafficked or smuggled from the mainland through the northeast route, and it comes to Manipur, and with the connivance of the local persons, it used to be trafficked into Myanmar. And this precursor element is used for manufacturing number 4 heroin with the raw materials which are produced in the Golden Triangle area. Then there was no raw materials or poppy plantation in Manipur state, which is a recent phenomenon. So I would like to say that it's not only the people of some elements in our society in the state of Manipur who are responsible for manufacturing drugs or involving in illicit drug trafficking, as well as I say that the players from the mainland, as I have highlighted, are also involved in this whole thing. So another point that I would like to mention to prove my point, let me also mention another incident. In 2020, the state police arrested one international drug kingpin from Myanmar. His name is Kiao Kiao Nang. I don't know how they pronounce it. That's how we tried our best to pronounce his name. Is a Myanmar national. He was arrested by us, interrogated thoroughly, and subsequent follow-up action was taken. He was booked under the NDPS Act. Not only that, he was detained under Prevention of Illicit Trafficking in Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act 1988. And he was languishing in the jail. And he was so powerful that the outside influence that he had enjoyed in Manipur Valley area, people tried to bail him out, and we had to repeatedly make efforts and attempts to confine him in the jail for maximum number of years. And so much of legal battle that we had to fight. And this particular case was even brought to the notice of the August gathering during the DGP's conference, which was attended by the Honorable Prime Minister, the Union Home Minister, and all the DGPs, central police organizations. When I presented the drug scenario in Manipur State in that National DGP's conference, and this was a classic example of how international gangster, drug trafficker had come over to the state of Manipur. This fellow, this gangster or this kingpin never operated, as per information, in any of the Kuki Zomi areas. He was operating in the valley only. And with the connivance of the drug peddlers and drug kingpins in the valley, he was operating all throughout in with some people even from outside the state. And so we had this classic case of how the drug cartel has spread across the international border, including even from Myanmar. So this is one example. And let me also highlight. Can you hear me, Major
Yes,
Shah?
yes. Very clearly, sir. Very
Okay.
clearly.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Let me
sir. Please.
proceed. Let me proceed.
Sir.
Okay. Thank you. And
Sir.
you know, the state government had taken up the war on drugs in 2000 since 2017.
Right.
And you know, you'll be surprised to know, I, as the DGP of the state, had to, taken up all out efforts and initiatives to elicit support from the chiefs of various tribes, chiefs of the communities, the tribes of the tribal districts of Manipur. And the number of organizations which came out to support the war on drugs, I would say overwhelmingly are from the tribal community. And I can emphatically tell you that the Kuki Zomi community has been openly coming out in support of the war against drugs. This is on record. And the tribal bodies, the tribe bodies, the civil society organizations, even the church leaders have come out openly in support of a drug-free society and a society or a community without any drug menace, particularly the fast-spreading poppy plantation in the hill areas. And I had to take the initiative in calling a meeting in the police headquarters 2-3 times. I called, the village chiefs 2-3 times. And because of the small conference hall, then I had to shift to the Manipur Police State 1st Battalion Manipur Rifles. If you remember, it is just opposite to the police headquarters. You must be aware
Right.
of the
Right. Very much.
topography,
I can see
everything.
it.
Yeah, since you have absolute perfect, near vast knowledge about our state. That's why I'm particularly mentioning that the banquet hall of the 1st Battalion Manipur Rifles, the premier battalion, was used to have a public meeting attended by more than 100 chiefs from Naga as well as the Kuki-Zomi communities, which was addressed by me. I gave them opportunity to speak. And the chiefs came out, all of them came out in support of the state government's war on drugs. And the overwhelming support that we got facilitated, joined a pledge, a common pledge to fight the menace of drugs. Not only the menace of drugs, also to eradicate poppy cultivation in the hill districts of Manipur. And this step had led to, a very significant campaign wherein, at the state level, wherein over 33 tribes had participated jointly and taken a common pledge in Imphal on February 25, 2021. At Imphal, a common pledge was taken by all the tribes and communities in the state in support of our efforts to eradicate poppy plantation and our efforts to fight against drug menace in the state of Manipur. And the participation of the Zomi community, the Kuki Zomi community, was unprecedented because we had on previous occasion at our level also organized various meetings. On October 4, as the DG, I had convened at Lamka, Churachandpur, organized by the district administration, attended by Assam Rifles, the officials from the security forces, and the forest department, horticulture department, and various other related departments and agencies. I was a chief guest during the awareness campaign on October 4. And we wanted to spread the message of a drug-free world. And on October 7 again, at Kangpokpi, I graced another awareness campaign. And there also we mobilized the civil society organization, the chiefs, the civil society bodies, the student bodies, and the people, along with various other stakeholders which I mentioned, and pledged to eradicate poppy plantation in the area falling within Kangpokpi district. And on the 8th of October, continuously, at Senapati district headquarters, I again graced the awareness campaign, and joined by me was the principal chief conservator of forest. And we successfully organized such awareness campaign to fight against drug, and these were the steps that I have personally taken up. And with my own eyes, I have seen how people could come out in support of, a drug-free world, and decided to, cultivate, go against the cultivation of poppy plants because of the reasons that we have given. Poppy cultivation is bad. It has a very long adverse impact against on our youth in the future. We will be losing our future if we have poppy cultivation and then the chemicals, the fertilizers that go into the cultivation of poppy at the time of sowing of the seeds, all these adverse impacts. We had to educate people. The chemicals flow into our streams, ravines, and rivers, and then the rainwater, brings them down, and then beneath the ground, through your well or your water supply system, it goes into your body, and all this, it's a poison, and then we should be very careful for our future that. Our future generation will be called as, drug peddlers or drug cultivators, which unfortunately some people have decided to harp on for some motivated agenda, which is very unfortunate. Everybody is into the fight against poppy cultivation, the fight against drugs. People want a good society, a healthy society, a better society, a bright future for the children, the future generations. And those people who are compelled because of lack of economic opportunities in the remote areas, lack of all those things, then alternative cropping, horticulture, plant saplings are being offered, and that kind of awareness campaigns we had undertaken very extensively. And with my own eyes, I have seen all communities. So I am very surprised that why a particular community is being branded. I decided not to speak about it because even at the international fora, this whole thing is coming up, and the world is not that ignorant anymore. People are very, very enlightened. People know what is a fact. People know what is the truth behind, any smear campaign. The narratives, I feel, should be very, very carefully brought out by all communities. And it's if we are to have a peaceful world and understanding, amongst communities, then I think we should analyze, go into it, and then examine all aspects empirically, and then come out with narratives. That's what I feel, and absolutely, it's highly unjustified, totally unjustified, and to call brand a particular community because some pockets are cultivating cannabis or ganja since time immemorial, and you can't brand them as a community of ganja cultivators, or just because in some pockets you have all this menace, which is a responsibility of every citizen of the state to fight against that menace, that problem, and which the community themselves have overwhelmingly supported to fight against such illicit poppy cultivation. And it's absolutely unfair, as I said, to call them as, community of poppy planters, even narco-terrorists. Who are the narco-terrorists? Who are the narco-terrorists who, out of the profit of the poppy cultivation, would be able to buy weapons and ammunition, operate across the state, across the country, across the world, and cause devastation through acts of terrorism and violence. You can examine, you can assess yourself. Is it the poor cultivator who sells the raw materials or the sap collected from the poppy plants through those small, dabas of that tiny boxes and get a few profit, or the major players who are investing crores and crores of money and then having having to operate with the international gangster like Kyaw These are valid points. These are points which I thought I should place during my interview. And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to express my viewpoints and highlight my point of view as ex-DGP of Manipur. Once again, thank you so much.
Sir, thank you so much for your time, sir. I was in conversation with the police officer, brave police officer from Manipur, Brinda. In fact, I think she was under your command when you were the DGP. She exposed a lot of drug cartels over there in Manipur, and she was awarded a gallantry award. I guess it was your time, so when you were the DGP, which later on she returned the gallantry award as well. And she threw some light on the drug cartel of Manipur and how it was and all. So, one last question I would like to ask you, sir. Based on your experience in Manipur, my experience in the entire, not just Manipur only, in the entire belt of the northeast part of India, especially Manipur, I would say, I have dealt with the underground factions over there, and I have seen they all had a code of conduct, a war code of conduct, where the women would not be touched, children would not be touched, the elderly would not be touched. I found them to be very, very worthy opponents actually. So I had regard and respect for them, for their professionalism that way, in that scenario, right? Or about their guerrilla warfare was very good. So there was an assassination of our Assam Rifles officer, Colonel Biplab Tripathi, a commandant of the Assam Rifles, just about a year and a half back, if you would remember, sir. His wife, his lady wife, and his son also were assassinated in that ambush. If I'm not mistaken, the PLA had done that, sir. So, is it anywhere? There were a lot of rumors, there were a lot of talk that it's perhaps related to the drug cartels. So, do you think it is anywhere connected to the drug cartel?
Uh, as far as I'm concerned, it was a very, very unfortunate incident. I would say that it was not in the realm of warfare ethics that the officer had to be attacked while he was traveling with his family members. And that violates the ethical code of conduct which the proscribed organization had once upon a time claimed to have upheld. And I feel that it has nothing to do with any drug cartel or anything to do with any drug related activity on the part of the organization or the Assam Rifles or the officer concerned. And I didn't have any information about that. In fact, I was the DGP then, and I had sent senior officers who had rushed to the spot and carried out searches and combing operations. What we gathered was that they were launching cross-border attacks on the forces operating sometimes in Chandel, sometimes in Churachandpur remote areas. It was one such case. The officer had stayed at Bihyang overnight, and somehow he got exposed, and his movement was exposed a couple of days before. And very unfortunately, that incident happened in that manner. But I don't have any input then or even now to suggest that the reason for such attack was related to any issue relating to drug or whatever.
All right, sir. And so, sir, thank you very much for your time, sir. It was really, I took a lot of time of yours, and thank you for spending time. I know you are very, very busy, sir, because, and lastly, I would like to ask you on the slightly question on the personal front, slightly, sir. How was the transition from the uniform, from being an IPS, a senior IPS officer, the DGP of Manipur, to becoming an MLA of Manipur, sir? And especially, tell us a bit about the Constitution 58, sir, that we would like to know.
I'm grateful for asking me that personal question. In fact, you'll be surprised to know that I never imagined that I would be one day, contesting the elections. But this idea of contesting elections came just about a couple of years before my retirement date was due. But I thought examining and having been a part of the governance in the state and also a part of the governance in the country, and I felt that I've seen a lot of issues in our state, inter-community issues as in charge of law and order, and the need for having peace and harmony. and the need for promoting oneness and the spirit of oneness those days, particularly among our tribal people and also
Oops, so
our
sorry, there was
people.
bad network.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
I,
sir, you're back, sir.
yeah, I wanted to serve our people. I wanted to avail the opportunity to serve our people in the economic upliftment and bringing about stability in our society. And in whatever little way I thought I could contribute even after my retirement. Because throughout my tenureship, my idea and priority were to have cordial relations with the public. That's why we had launched in 2017 community policing. And at the police station level, at the subdivisional level, at the district level, at the range level, at the headquarter level, at all levels, we promoted community policing. Policing in partnership with the community in the fight against social evils like drugs, and then other forms of crimes to stabilize the society and bring about harmony. That's how I got associated, involved. It was more of, sometimes I thought whether I'm a policeman in the that olden sense of the term, or I'm a very proactive police officer, going all out open, reaching out my hands to the civil societies, the communities, the people at large. So then, I started developing these public relations, and I feel that I should also take forward this experience of mine in the political domain, where I can fully participate and devote my time in the welfare of our people. That's how I joined, and the transition, frankly speaking, in the normal course would have been difficult. But last many years of my career in the IPS, I had partly served in Tripura from 1985 during my probationary days to the 1991 first part, 1990 end part, and then since
I've spent
then.
beautiful times in Tripura as well, sir. In Agartala, Bandila Market is there. In
Oh,
Sipai
that's
Zala,
a
in Udaipur. I've
yeah,
spent beautiful
yeah.
times in Tripura, sir.
That's a good, coincidence. I was the SP Agartala, I was the SP
Okay.
North, I was the SDPO Kamalpur, the Khwai, and then I was trained in Teliamura and then Agartala police station and all that. I have, that good knowledge about the place. I love the people there. I like the
Yes.
people there. And then having come over here, so all this while, these many years, I have been, my priority has been, to work in partnership with our people. Way back in 1995, 96 and all, when I was SP Churachampur for more than a year, I spent the entire tenure of mine in Churachampur as SP in the fight against drugs, in the fight against, social crimes and social evils, antisocial elements with our people here. I was together with them, and that's how when I campaigned this time, I was recollecting all those days, and there were a lot many people who were fighting together with me for the good of our society, our district. So it was, I would say, very, very, not really in the real sense, not a very, sudden transition. It was a natural process, I would say. And thank you for asking me that personal question once again.
Thank you, sir. So, and lastly, could you tell us a bit about the Assembly constituency 58, sir, the one you are the MLA of in from Chachanpur, sir?
Yeah, the 58 Assembly constituency mm, is the headquarters of Churachandpur district. All the people from the different tribes are settled here. We have voters from all segments of society, including people from outside the state, people from Bihar, people from Punjab, Rajasthan, and then UP. You'll be surprised, they're all here. And mm, in fact, we had a population of more than this number of voters here is the highest in number. That is over 64,000 voters I have. So I represent different tribes and communities living here in Churachampur district headquarters. It's a town, Lamka town.
Right. So basically, the entire Thorbong, Parbong, everything would be with you, sir. In fact, is it?
No, it's the district headquarters. We have different assembly constituencies. In
Okay.
Churachampur and Fairzol district, we have altogether 6 assembly constituencies. So I represent the Lamka town, the town which is the district headquarters of the district.
All right, sir. Sir, thank you so much. It's been truly an honor and a pleasure being in conversation with you, and great learning and great education. Always, one thing we learned in the army, in the uniform, was when you hear a senior officer speak, you just quietly listen and observe. And thank you very much, sir. It's been such a pleasure speaking to you, sir. More power to you, to your constituency, and more power to Manipur. When I say Manipur, I mean to the Maites and to the Cookies as well, and to the Nagas as well. I mean to the entire northeast part of India, which I love truly from the bottom of my heart. And you know very well, sir, my close bonding and association with Manipur, particularly, sir. And
It's a pleasure for me.
any last message you'd like to convey, sir?
It's a pleasure for me as well. And I wish you all the best. And you still maintain perfect discipline.
Thank you, sir. That makes me sit up in southern position.
Yeah, thank you. Nice interacting with you.
Lovely interacting with you, sir. Jai Hind, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much.